Bet, ikaw ay Filipino, 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 Filipino.
Mga idol at kabayan, super good news! Good news number 1, dumating na ang worth 18 million US dollar na Precision Guided Munitions o PGM, bigay ng bansang Estados Unidos sa Pilipinas. Wow na wow! Ang bilis ng delivery! Pero hindi lang yan. Good news number 2, Estados Unidos nagbigay din ng TOW o Tripod Mounted Anti-Tank Wire-Guided Missiles. Wow na wow ulit! Alam nyo ba idol, na ito ay bigay ni President Trump ayon sa kanilang pag-uusap ni President Duterte noong buwan ng Abril 2020. Tara, panoorin ang actual video ng pag-handover ng nasabing mga military assets sa Department of Foreign Affairs Secretary Teddy Boy Locsin Jr. I-like ang video at mag-subscribe. Matik na! Pinangunahan ng National Security Advisor ng Estados Unidos na si Robert O'Brien ang pag-turnover ng 18 million US dollar na halaga ng defense article kasama na ang mga Precision Guided Munitions o PGM sa Pilipinas. Ang mga defense articles ay natanggap ni Foreign Secretary Teddy Boy Locsin Jr. sa isang seremonya na dinaluhan ni National Defense Undersecretary Cardoso Luna at iba pang mga opisyal ng depensa at military officials ngayon, ika-23 ng Nobyembre 2020. Ang paglipat ng mga military assets na ito ay binibigyan diin ang matatag at matibay na pangako ng Estados Unidos sa Pilipinas bilang isang critical alliance, sabi ni O'Brien. Malugod na tinatanggap ng Estados Unidos ang desisyon kamakailan ni Pangulong Duterte na palawigin ang Visiting Forces Agreement ng Estados Unidos at Pilipinas. Inaasahan ng Estados Unidos ang Visiting Forces Agreement na patuloy na mapadali ang malapit na kooperasyon sa paglaban at pagsupok. Malugod na tinatanggap ng Estados Unidos ang desisyon kamakailan ni Pangulong Duterte na palawigin ang Visiting Forces Agreement ng Estados Unidos at Pilipinas. Inaasahan ng Estados Unidos ang Visiting Forces Agreement na patuloy na mapadali ang malapit na kooperasyon sa paglaban at pagsugpo sa terorismo, dagdag ni O'Brien. Sinabi ni Secretary Locsin na ito ay katuparan ng pangakong binitawan ni Pangulong Sinabi ni Secretary Locsin na ito ay katuparan ng pangakong binitawan ni Pangulong US Donald Trump kay Pangulong Duterte sa kanilang pag-uusap sa telepono noong Abril 2020. Inaasahan namin ang pagsasanay sa paggamit ng mga sandatang ito na may pinakamahusay at hindi mapag-alinlangan na lakas ng militar sa buong mundo. Tara, panoorin natin ang pahayag ni Secretary O'Brien at Department of Foreign Affairs Teodoro Locsin Jr.
And we know that we are in your prayers. So today, on behalf of President Trump, and it's an honor for me to be here because I was on the initial phone call between President Trump and President Duterte when they spoke about the fight against terrorism that the Philippines is so valiantly waging and the need for some munitions. I'm pleased to transfer a package of precision-guided missiles, munitions, including 100 TOW 2 Alpha missiles, 12 ITAS, and 24 MK-82s to the Armed Forces of the Philippines. And Mr. Secretary, let me just hand you a letter on behalf of making the transfer of these systems available. I saw a photo, one of my colleagues from the NSC sent me a photo yesterday of the C-130, or maybe it was the C-5 that was coming in to bring these munitions to you to help you in your fight. And it's a fight that's being bravely undertaken by the men and women of the Philippines Armed Forces. This transfer underscores our strong and enduring commitment to a critical alliance. We hope these precision-guided missiles and munitions will help the AFP protect Philippine lives in Mindanao and end the needless suffering imposed by ISIS East Asia. The United States has been at the forefront of the fight against ISIS. The United States in the Middle East has destroyed 100% of the physical caliphate That was a caliphate the size of Great Britain, extending across Syria and Iraq. It was destroyed under President Trump's orders. Further, President Trump gave the orders for a daring nighttime raid that led to justice being brought to Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the founder and leader of ISIS. Now President Trump is standing with President Duterte as we combat ISIS here in Southeast Asia. The United States welcomes President Duterte's recent decision to extend the U.S.-Philippines Visiting Forces Agreement. We look forward to the VFA continuing to facilitate our closer cooperation in combating terrorism. And Mr. Secretary, thank you for your strong involvement in that process. We also hope to expand our cooperation across a whole range of security challenges, from disaster relief to maritime security. Know that the United States stands shoulder to shoulder with the Philippines. Our nations share a deep interest in upholding the rule of law and the rules-based international order that has underwritten an enduring peace in Asia, peace, stability, and prosperity across the Indo-Pacific region since the end of the Second World War. And we welcome the recent statements by President Duterte and the Secretary at the U.S.-ASEAN Summit and the East Asia Summit, which I participated, calling for all nations, including a certain large nation in the neighborhood, to respect international law in the South China Sea. Earlier this year, the United States formally aligned our position on the South China Sea with the Arbitral Tribunal's 2016 ruling. We stand with the Philippines in protecting your sovereign rights, your offshore resources, and all of those rights that are consistent with international law. And I just want to say that those resources belong to the children and the grandchildren of the people here. They belong to the Philippine people. They don't belong to some other country that just because they may be big and they may be bigger than the Philippines, they can come take away and convert the resources of the Philippine people. That's just wrong. And that's why Secretary Pompeo said in February, any armed attack on Philippine forces, aircraft, or public vessels in the South China Sea will trigger our mutual defense obligations. As we approach the 70th anniversary of our Mutual Defense Treaty next year, we celebrate the strength of our important alliance, and we look forward to working hand in hand for generations to come. Together, the United States and the Philippines will continue to ensure peace and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific region. May God bless you, may God bless the Philippines, and may God bless America. Thank you very much.
Thank you, National Security Advisor O'Brien. May we now call on the Secretary Locsin for his remarks.
U.S. National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien, U.S. Embassy Chargé d'Affaires John C. Law, Undersecretary for National Defense Cardoso Luna, Deputy Chief of Staff of the AFP Rear Admiral Eric Kagawan, other members of the U.S. delegation, other officials of the Department of National Defense and Armed Forces of the Philippines present this morning, colleagues in government, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. I am pleased to receive, on behalf of the Philippine government, the donation by the United States government of precision-guided munitions, or PGMs, valued at approximately $18 million. This is the fulfillment of a promise made by U.S. President Donald J. Trump to President Duterte during their phone call in April. We look forward to training on the use of these weapons with the best and undisputed military power in the world, and the only one in history selflessly dedicated to the freedom and independence of other countries wherever threatened in the world. These smart bombs will boost the capability of our armed forces in neutralizing identified or specific threats to national security, particularly in counter-terrorism operations. In spite of the challenges we face due to the pandemic that has spread like wildfire around the world, the Philippines remains watchful against threats to our islands and waters and our people. This gesture reflects our strategic alignment of interests and our shared aspirations for enduring peace and stability for both our countries and the greater region. It is demonstrative of President Trump's staunch support for the Philippines to counter both internal and external security threats, and emblematic of our two leaders' trust in each other. On behalf of my President and the government of the Philippines, President Trump, friends in the U.S. government, thank you very much. God save America. God save the Philippines.
Laban Pinas.